kids, so this video is on 1.5 graphing linear equations. Before we get to graphing, let's summarize what have we learned so far. So far we've learned two things. We've learned the skill of writing a linear equation and the context of what those things in the equation mean. So step one for writing an equation is to pick 2 points and find the slope. I'm just going to pick the 2 points that were given to me because it's already labeled for us. So again, if this wasn't given to us, what we have to do is look at our x-axis and our y-axis for those numbers. So that first one is 260, and that second one is 390. Now we find our change in y and change in x. So our change in x is +1, and our change in y goes from 60 to 90, so that is +30. All right, y goes in the sky, so 30 divided by 1, that gets me 30. So there's my slope. All right, now we need to find the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is where that line crosses with the y-axis. So I see that the two intersect right here at the coordinate 0, 0. But remember, the y-intercept is only the y value, so hence the name. So it's just going to be that 1, 0, or whatever is in that pink spot. So then when I write my equation, I take my slope. The slope always goes in front of the x. So our slope is 30, and our y-intercept is 0. So I get y equals 30x plus 0. Now, in context, remember I need to focus on what my axis represents. So my x is days, and my y is miles. So the slope was 30, and it represents the y goes first, so miles, our keyword is per, and then our x. So same order, y per x. For y-intercept, we saw that it was 0, and the word we use with this is initial. And then we only need our y-axis because we're only talking about miles. So the y-intercept is 0, and it represents initial miles. All right, so now to the new stuff, graphing linear functions. So we're still in need of that slope and that y-intercept. It's just working backwards now. So now we're given the equation and need to identify. Remember that y-intercept was that number that was by itself. So in this case, our y-intercept, or our first step, is to identify, and that is 3. As a coordinate, that would be 0, 3. Remember, it always has 0 as the x. So I'm just going to go ahead and plot that on my graph. 0, 3. Now identify my slope and rewrite it as a fraction. So my slope is 2 because that's with the x. But since this is a whole number, that would mean my slope is 2 over 1. Now what's really important about this tells me the direction. So we did this a while ago, back in 1.2. So let's recap it. If my top number is positive, that means I'm moving up 2. My bottom number, no matter what, is always going to go right. So what I mean by that is if I take a new dot and I start at my y-intercept, in this case, I'm going up 2 spaces, so up 1, up 2, and then right 1. Now, I can't go up or right anymore. The graph ends, but I need at least 3 points to continue my graph, so I have to go backwards, all right? But it's the same pattern. So I still need to go up 2, right 1, but I'm going backwards, so it would be down 2 and left 1. But if I look here, it should still be up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1. And just so we can add another point so you get the gist of it, it would go here because the pattern is up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1. Once I have that, I can go ahead and connect my line. Now, we didn't talk about this before, but we want to practice extending those lines all the way to the edge of the graph. So let's practice that this time. All right, let's do one more of these. All right, so which one of these numbers is my y-intercept? Let's start there. My y-intercept is -2 because it's the one without the x. So in this case, it's 0 and -2. Uh-oh, why can't I type? Yikes. Okay, some technical difficulties, but y-intercept is -2. So I put my dot on -2 on my y-axis. All right, our slope in this case is the point the number -3/4. So that means the -3 is going to go on the top and the 4 is going to go on the bottom. This tells me the direction, my rise over run. So the direction is down 3. And remember what I said before, it's always going to be right. Oh, what does that mean? I go to my y-intercept, I go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and then right 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, like I said for the last one, we need at least 3 points. So I'm going to go backwards. So now I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 this way, and 4, 2, 3, 4. If you're not sure where they go, you can always start at this dot and then just make sure it follows the direction. So down 3, 1, 2, 3, right 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Down 3, 1, 2, 3, right 4. All right, so that looks good to me. So I'm going to connect my line and just draw it to the edge of the graph. Beautiful. All right, so that was a preview of graphing without context. Now let's practice graphing in context. Same thing, just a different scenario. So Miss Mish is running in a race. She starts the race at mile 0 and runs at a rate of 3 miles per hour. So we need to use our skills from 1.2 and 1.3 to identify which one of these is my slope and which one of these is my y-intercept. So remember, y-intercept has keywords like start, original, initial, right? So I see that here. So it says this starts at mile 0. So that means my y-intercept, or my starting point, is going to be 0, 0. And then it says she runs at a rate of 3 miles per hour. That tells me my slope because that keyword per. So 3, it's a whole number, so 3 goes on the top, and that invisible 1 goes on the bottom. Let's do the directions. So the directions is up or down if it's a +3. It's up, and the bottom is always right. So same thing that we did before. I'm going to start with my y-intercept, and in this case, it's 0, 0. Uh-oh, you can't see the point. Hold on, technical difficulties. Let me just send this to the back. There we go. All right, and now I'm going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, and right 1. Let's do it again. Up 3, 1, 2, 3, right 1. And I can keep continuing if I wanted to. Up 3, right 1. But most importantly, I need to connect my points and go to the edge of the graph. Coolio. All right, last one, and then I promise this video is almost over. All right, Miss Kwong is running in the same race as Miss Mish. She gets a head start and begins the race at mile 2. So there's our keyword, begins at mile 2. That tells me the y-intercept. So our y-intercept, without even reading the rest, is 0, 2. So I start on my y-axis. Remember, this is our y. All right. Let's keep reading. She runs at a rate of 5 miles every 2 hours. That's our slope because of that keyword every. So it's 5 every 2. So that means my top number is 5. My bottom number is 2. So I have up 5 and right 2. So I get my point. I go back to my y-intercept, up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and right 2. Another point, up 2, 3, 4, 5, right 2. We are totally off the graph, so that last point doesn't really work. But you get the idea. Let's just connect them. All right. So this is what we're going to be doing in class the next time we see you. If you have any questions, write them in this video so that we can help you and answer those when we see you next.